What if I tell you what you don't know will cost you a lot more than what you know for sure? What if I tell you that the job that you're currently living, it is completely killing all the future you that you could have become? Imagine just walking out down the alley or being in a coffee shop. You're seeing Michael Jordan and he's still not a star. You see Michael Jordan behind the counter offering you a coffee, working in a Starbucks, for example. What would you tell Michael Jordan? What the fuck are you doing here, right? What is someone like you? Like, you would have shake his head and you would be like, you are Michael Jordan. You could have done this, but he doesn't know it. And the reason why he doesn't know it's because it costs him more what he doesn't know. And what he thinks he know will cost him as well a lot more. I've seen this often when I was in the barbershop industry. A lot of my barbers were not going to vacation because it cost them more in opportunity costs of not making, for example, $2,000 in the week, while they could have, if they're in a vacation, this will cost them for once $2,000, but also the opportunity cost of making $2,000. So they're like, in their head, they're like minus $4,000. But the reality is that if, for example, we would take Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, if he would have not been in Italy on that specific date and time, in the parallel universe, he would have been, behind whatever he was doing in his day job. Not being in Italy, seeing the barista, seeing the environment, smelling the aroma of coffee, and having this beautiful idea that came into his mind that he wanted to create something similar to what he saw in Italy, in America, and then create this beautiful business that became Starbucks. Imagine him not being there, and if he would have abided to the philosophy of opportunity costs. Well, no, it will cost me a lot. That closed-mindedness. A lot of people have this, and I was victim of that in my first and 2 years of being in the barbershop. To keep making money, right? That small amount of money. If he would have abided to that philosophy, he would not be in Starbucks. So hypothetically, he would not create this beautiful business called Starbucks today, a multi-billion-dollar industry. Or let's just take Ray Kroc. I think he was at his late 40 and 50-ish, pretty late. He was old. And if he wouldn't put everything on the line to partner up with the McDonald brothers, he mortgaged basically everything for 1%. If I do remember, it was something close to 1% of 1%. If he would not take that chance, he would never have this beautiful business called McDonald. But he took the chance. He took everything on the line because he knew, he saw it, right? He had to believe before seeing it, not see it before believing it. There's a nuance here. So once he was at that position to have 1%, and then eventually he bought up the brothers and he owned McDonald's. Well, we would not have this beautiful business called McDonald's because he thought about franchise, that fast food franchise all across America. Then it became global. Well, let's just take Phil Knight. He had this beautiful habit of just running every day. And then one day suddenly it just appeared out of nowhere, the idea of creating Nike, creating that beautiful shoes business. Started with shoes and now it became a multi-billion-dollar industry selling clothesline and everything. But what you don't know will cost you a lot more. Ideas. I think Einstein said it best. Imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And so if you see of those three examples that just came out of the blue, you could see that the imagination that they had at that particular time and moment of life were more valuable than everything else. And this acronym, I call it the LIPP. Lapse in parallel perception is so important. It is the mindset that when I was in the barbershop industry, it was at its peak. I had close to like 15 to 18 barbers. I don't know. It was like full barbershop in St. Hubert, St. Remy, and Brassard. Like everything was running well. And I was making lots of money. I was working pretty much every day. Things were going well. And at that time, I was like, well, this is costing my future me because I know I can make so much more than what I'm here currently doing. Let's take you, for example. You're probably sometime not open-minded to go to that restaurant or, to that vacation because you're like, no, I need to do X, Y, Z. I need to, attend to that course. I need to work. I need to do my routine. But you're closed-minded enough. But what if I tell you that if you would have went to that vacation, you probably would have met the woman of your life or the man of your life. So not being in that vacation probably cost you to find the person of your life that could have helped you throughout your whole journey. Or maybe a partner, or maybe better yet, an idea, the imagination that you could have had to create something, someplace, or to just, unlock you from where you are. That's why it's valuable sometimes to go on vacation. But it's not the answer only, right? The answer is just to be open-minded. We have this inner guidance inside of ourselves that usually tell us what to and what not to, and we love to suppress it. Anyway, I don't want to go too spiritual with that sense, but my point is that is the mindset that got me out of selling my business to being in a place full of uncertainty, right? In this game of trading. And that is also a reminder for me that I give the reminder this morning to my partner that all the mistakes that I'm currently doing are not expensive, to the point of there's a parallel universe of me that is making bigger mistake, that is losing probably, I don't know, 1 million or saving 1 million just because I had this beautiful habit of understanding this principle and to taking into the account that all the mistake that I'm doing currently, it's nuances. There's a version of me, there's a version of you that is currently making a lot of money. Wonder why there's a lot of people that are making millions of dollars every day. I'm not even exaggerating. There's some people that are making $1 million every day. It's $365 million a year. It is possible. So that is why you should not sit with your mistakes currently. What you're living right now is nuances to what you could have achieved. Look forward. Don't look backward. Don't live in the past. Past is just a sets of data for us to get ourselves into a better position, to extrapolate it and to construct it narratively, intelligently, in a way where we can understand all these nuances, which is LIPP. That's why you're listening to this video, for you to understand more. And the more you understand, the less ignorant you are, the less doubt and fear that you have, so you can make better mistakes. You can have better outcome, but have better decision making. So I urge you, my friend, you should not care about the mistake that you're doing right now. What you should actually care of is what you have in control. And what you have control is to learn from your mistakes and to try to not repeat it back. Because if you do that, well, just look at your P&L, just look at your life, all the mistakes that you've done. If you could have just made it once, only once, you could have been massively successful in any endeavor. But there's also a better way of thinking. Do you have to jump out of the cliff to understand that you can break the legs? Of course not. You're learning from someone else, right? The wisest way is to learn from other people's mistakes. So imagine if you don't do the same mistake twice and you learn from other people's mistakes, such as my mistakes, such as all the understanding that I got from my own mistakes, well then you become unstoppable. So what's more valuable? Is it more valuable to lament on all the small mistakes that you've done? Or is it more valuable to learn from other people's mistakes and only making a mistake once? See, philosophies. Right? Lapse in parallel perception. This is more expensive than your current mistakes. So fuck all your mistakes. It's not important. What's important is for you to extrapolate that lesson, to use it for yourself and to not make the same mistake twice. LIPP. And I got this one day out of a sudden. It came into my mind and I just wrote it down. And I tried my best to apply it on every realm of my life. But you see, years after, today, it is hitting me even more. So it's okay that you're probably not going to abide to it every day. It's a question of creating the best habits, and those habits are very important, and it still is into your identity, and to remind yourself always. Imagine making mistakes and just flowing and not caring about any mistakes that you're doing because you understand this philosophy so much that you're just in equanimity. In other words, you're just calm and you're just flowing with life and nothing's really bothering you. Because let's be honest, what decision comes out best when you're angry or when you're calm? It's always calm. So you don't need anger. You don't need to force things. You don't need to have fear. You don't need your back against the wall. That's my point. You could simply be calm, taking the best decision rationally, but calm is a byproduct, and the main core is to not be ignorant and understanding these principles. The more you understand it, the more you're going to be calm. On this note, God bless you all. Like, subscribe, share, do all this good stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers. God bless.